Hey coin collectors, it's DC on the Big D. It's a 1970 Roosevelt dime from the United States of America. We see it says Liberty in front of Roosevelt. Under his chin it says, "In God We Trust." There's a D there above the date, and that means this is a Denver Mint coin. And then way down underneath his neck is a J and an S, and that's for John Sinek, the engraver of this coin. We see the 1970 there. This is a great coin. You can see lots of detail in the hair, great detail in the face. So these coins can be really valuable. Let's take a look at them. This one back here doesn't even look real, does it? That's what a proof coin from 1970 looks like. It's almost cartoonish. It's so shiny. In 1970, the San Francisco Mint forgot to put some S's on some dimes. But when we talk about having a no S dime from 1970, you can really tell the difference between this one here and this one. This is a Philadelphia Mint. It doesn't have any mark on it. This is what a San Francisco Mint proof coin will look like. And so unless you have one that's this shiny, it's not going to be a no S dime. So you probably don't have a no S dime. There are no known no S dimes in circulation right now. The way you'd get a no S dime in 1970 would be you'd get it from a proof set. So let's start with that 1970 S. In 1970, they made 2.6 million coins at the San Francisco Mint. Now, they're not all going to be this shiny. In fact, some of them have a different kind of shine on them, what we call a cameo, where there's actually a different polish on the head that makes it kind of stick up off the coin even more. This coin is not a cameo, and it's certainly not what we call a deep cameo, but it's still in really, really nice shape. We look at the back, we see that it says United States of America at the top, one dime at the bottom. If we magnify it up, though, we see even on the San Francisco coins, we don't see any full bands going across. What you need to see is this line here in the middle of this band here needs to be full, and it goes to both sides. And this line here on this band down here needs to be full and go to both sides. So you're going to get a lot of San Francisco coins in 1970 that don't have full bands even on the proof versions. There are 2,200 San Francisco Mint coins on here that don't have an S. They know almost exactly how many were minted. They go for about $600 and up. If you get it to a deep cameo for the no S, it can go to almost $6,000. At the Denver Mint, they have some really valuable coins also. And of course, the first thing you need to do for the Denver Mint and Philadelphia Mint is see if maybe you have full bands on that one. And you see this isn't even close down here. You can't even tell the edges. It doesn't have to be a full bands, but it has to be in incredibly good shape if it's not a full bands version. Let's take a look at some full bands and non-full bands versions. I'm going to show you a couple of these really valuable coins from the PCGS website. So here's one of the 1970 dimes on PCGS, and you can see right up here, we've got it at the PCGS. Here's the website. 1970 10 cents full bands, regular strike. And we see that some detail, you can still have some scratches. And then we look at the back and we see it's not that fancy, but you can see both these lines at the top. You can see the line to the middle, both these lines at the bottom, line to the middle. You can see how it cups up a little bit down here. You can see some good lines in the torch. This is the actual 1970 10 cent full bands, mint state 66. That's worth $2,400 or $2,500. You see great detail for all the letters and everything there, but it's just amazing that it could look like this. And some of this is a picture. It's probably a little bit better over there in terms of the line. But some of it is, this is what a 66 full bands looks like, and there just aren't many of them out there. And here's a 1970 Philadelphia without the full bands. And let's take a look at this one. And so this is a mint state 67 plus. This is also worth about $2,000 to $2,500. And when we get here, we see that the bands don't quite reach. We get here, we see that the bands don't quite reach the edge. See? So this won't be a full bands because it doesn't go all the way to the side. There, the bands don't reach the edge. Down here, you can't even see the edge of the bands here, and they fuse together there. This is a non-full bands version, but in 1967, the quality of production was so low, you even get this one at a mint state 67. At a mint state 67 plus, there's only a couple of these known even without the full bands. Okay, so you can see this is not going to be a full bands. If you have a Denver Mint coin with the D here, and it's a full bands from 1970, it could be worth $3,500 or more if you get up to Mint State 67. They made 755 million Denver coins, and there's at least 2 that are Mint State 67 full bands. The Philadelphia Mint you can tell because it doesn't have any mark there, and it's also not shiny, has nowhere near the condition a San Francisco Mint coin would have. They made 346 million at Philadelphia. The best they found so far is a Mint State 67 without full bands, and that's worth about $2,000. And then they found a Mint State 66 with full bands, the one we just saw on the PCGS website, and that's worth about $2,500. These are copper nickel-clad copper coins. If we tip them up on the edge, we see that there's some copper in the center and then a copper nickel cladding on the back and on the front of this coin. There are some other valuable coins from 1970 that are out there. You can find a 1970 penny that's worth up to $5,500. You can find a 1970 nickel worth up to $6,000. For the quarters, those are the ones that they really did a good job on in 1970. There are some Mint State 69 quarters from 1970 that are worth $15,000. And finally, you can get Kennedy half from 1970 that's worth over $20,000 if you can get it into a Mint State 67. So look for all of these coins out there, but remember, when you're looking for the dimes from 1970, unless it's this kind of shiny, you're not ever going to have a no-S dime. Unless it has full bands on the back, you're not going to be able to get the top of the line money for a Denver Mint coin or a Philadelphia Mint coin. Please subscribe to the channel and leave any comments you have in the Big D comment section.